And what is up, all you cool Bears and Cubs, and welcome to another episode of the Halas Hall Brawl podcast. I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, my left-hand man, Blake Hanatho at Blake Hanatho on Twitter. Danny is out today. He's going to be out this week. He will rejoin us hopefully next week for our big draft episode. But we have another big draft episode this week. We're going to dive into our mock drafts and touch on some other news. And before we do that, my man Blake, how are you doing?
I'm
How do you
doing
like
all
that?
right.
You
I
like that
love the
intro?
intro. I love the little that Carol Baskins nod
Yeah,
there.
that bitch Carol Baskin.
That fucking bitch. We all know her. We don't love her. We've all pretty much thrown her under the bus. But yeah, I mean, all you cool cats and kittens.
All you cool Bears and Cubs,
Oh,
bring it Chicago
hey, hey,
Bears
hey.
style.
Hey, no Carol Baskins allowed over on this side, bro.
But yeah, we're gonna have we got a really jam packed episode for you guys. Blake and I are gonna take you through round one and halfway through round two, all the way up to pick 50, so that we can get the Bears' first two picks, and we're gonna do just a mock draft all the way first pick,
Pick
first
'em
50
all.
picks, mock draft. We'll have some fun. We're also going to we're going to touch on a little bit of news, and then next week we're going to go in and we're going to dive deep into our Bears mock draft, and we're going to get some of you fans involved too during that show. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. At Halas Hall Brawl on Twitter, Halas Hall Brawl on Facebook. We'll be releasing how to get involved this week. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we're going to first touch on officially no sports for over 1 month. We've hit that
Ouch.
period. How are we feeling? I mean, I bet on a Chicago Bears, or I bet on a Madden simulation today.
Yes,
and won.
sir. Yes,
So
sir.
that's
the point
what
we're at
I'm
right
doing.
now, man.
That's what I'm doing. And we got esports. That's about it. How are you feeling? Blake, you still betting on the simulations?
I did for the one day, but now that you're telling me that you're back into it, I'm kind of getting interested here. I'm kind of want to see what's the slate is for tonight on Bovada there, and maybe I'll have to make a pick.
Ravens Bengals over 43.5 for this 4 o'clock game. If you want to take it while we're recording.
Hey, I might have to. Is that game about to kick off?
Yeah, you got 10 minutes.
Shit. 10 minutes?
10 minutes.
Oh,
Blake's
man. I
going
might have
off
to get a bet in here. I'll throw it on the TV. It'll
That's
be like real sports are on.
Yeah, I took 43.5. I was watching it and I was like, wow, this is like this. I'm missing football.
Right.
Like Mike Williams was making some crazy catches that Phil Rivers just thrown. I was like, oh my God. And then Joey Bosa had 5 sacks in 2 series.
That's what you love to see.
Yeah, so that was nice. I had Chargers -3, and I think they won 24-10. So that's what I'm doing with my time when I'm not working.
I feel you, dude. I feel you. I've been watching the 2K Players Tournament too. That was something else. Made a nice little pool for that, man. It's like literally anything to fill that sports itch at this point. I never believed.
Did you watch the horse at all last night? I heard it was terrible.
I actually did not watch any of the horse, but from the way that people are talking about it on Twitter, it's sounds like it was kind of trash.
Yeah,
I know that Zach Levine swept Paul Pierce though.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so interesting. But I heard supposedly they, obviously they did what they could, and I thought it was a cool idea. But I think the quality was just not good enough.
Yeah, I mean, horse is like fun in theory if you can't play, but I don't know. If we got into the point where it's like they're literally trying to fill anything, so that horse tournament. So I mean, I guess it's kind of cool, but at least they're trying to create content and put something to try and fill the void that no sports has left us here. And I really appreciate the effort, but it's just nothing is really quite the same at this kind of time. I feel like the simulations look like it, but it's still not the real thing. And hopefully sooner than later, it's going to be safe enough for sports to resume, because I never really realized how dependent I was on sports just to like fill my time throughout the day. Like whether it's just like throwing the game on TNT, like a basketball game, like baseball game, even as background noise at this point, with baseball, I'm a baseball fan. I don't watch every Cubs game. I don't think many people watch every single baseball game, but just to have it on something in the background at this point would be like, it'd be insane. Like even if spring training baseball started up right now, I think I would be like glued to my seat. I'd be making bets. Like I would be ready to go. Just anything at this point.
It's sad. It's really like, we miss sports a lot for sure. And you kind of take it for granted when a game's on games are on every night. You never have a day without sports for the most part, especially during this time. No. This is like, this is peak sports right now. And we have nothing. It's crazy that just happened. March is peak sports, and we just March, April, May. And
coronavirus took that from us.
Yeah, it really did. So when sports come back, it's almost gonna be like a luxury when it comes back.
It really is.
I mean, I'm gonna want to go to a bar, watch a game, have a couple beers.
Oh, for sure.
It's gonna be interesting.
Never taken any of that for granted.
Yeah, and real quick before we get into some other Chicago stuff, did you hear about baseball? Did you see what they're planning on doing?
I did. We can talk about this for a little bit as well. I think that's an awesome idea what they're proposing. You want to break it down a little bit for everybody?
Well, yeah, from what I understood, they're just going to play. They're basically going to align all the teams, get rid of leagues and divisions, and do and play at their spring training facilities. So they're only, all the teams, all the MLB teams are playing in 2 states, and they only have to travel a little bit. So the Cubs obviously would be in Arizona, and I think the Sox are grapefruit, so they'd be in Florida.
I think so, yeah.
And that would be so interesting and crazy. Like, what would they do in you're just gonna have playoffs down there? I think that'd be terrible. Like, I think that would be bad.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, maybe
it's October. I think you bring them back up for that. I really do.
It'd be interesting to see how they kind of just navigate these waters because, come playoff time, come October, it might be a very different climate, with everything going on where they can play it at other places. Because, obviously right now in the near future, it's not going to be something that's really possible to play and travel to all these different states. So, I get it, but I don't know how that would work because even traveling back from Florida and Arizona, are they going to have interconference play still? Or are they only going to play in that state? And then once the World Series happens potentially, then you move that? Do you bring it back to their home stadiums or do you kind of travel back and forth still from those spring training?
Yeah, I don't even know. Like the Sox and the Cubs are going to be in like the same league. They're doing whatever they can. This is going to be shortened. Like this will start in like maybe July or August when it's like you're getting into the heat of baseball season, and they're going to have to make up multiple missed months to get into the playoffs in October. It's going to be crazy.
I think it would be cool though. I think
it's different. I think it's cool. I mean, it reminds me of the it's not this extreme, but the lockout. Remember when the Hawks won in 2013 against the Bruins when they had that 22 and
the point streak was insane.
That crazy point streak. I think Kane had that point streak as well during that stretch. It's similar to that, but it'll be very different because if the Cubs play in Arizona, it's going to be very difficult I want to go watch the Cubs. I want to go and watch the Cubs, and
you dude.
It's going to be weird, knowing that they're all the way down in Arizona. But I mean, you know what? It's going to be sports on at this point. I think anybody needs sports, and at the end of the day, sports are they're somewhat of entertainment. So whatever they can do to get it on, for people to watch, for them to make money, for us to get going again. I'm kind of all for it. So, I mean, even with the draft, it's amazing that the NFL is still trying to keep this going, but keeping people as safe as possible. So,
right.
All right. Speaking of Chicago, I want to get into Christmas news for all Chicagoans out there, all basketball fans, especially. Foreman and Paxson are officially out in Chicago.
Sir.
Foreman was relieved today, Monday the 13th, and Paxson was recently given a senior advisor role. No more.
It's the moment Bulls fans have been waiting for. Chicago fans, rejoice. It's over. We got our boy Artie now. Arturas, I think, yeah. Arturas Karnisovas.
He just sounds like he's a mob guy. He's got mafia ties. Maybe he's bringing in all this big money
from overseas.
That's it. That's what I'm saying, dude.
Our executive's foreign over on this side. Yeah, it's an awesome pickup. It sounds like for the Bulls, man. Just from like the Chicago viewpoint here, if you are a Bulls fan, you may just be a Bears fan, but from being around Chicago, it's been over 20 years with Gar Forman, John Paxson. Not a lot of results. Obviously, they lucked into Derrick Rose the one time and had a nice stretch there, but it's just been kind of a perennial bottom barrel basketball team that's stuck in hell. I mean, they've had the 7th pick for the last 3 seasons. I think they were on pace to get the 7th pick again this year, and
they're projected to, yeah.
So it's finally some change for an organization that has been long overdue with it. So it's really good to see, and hopefully we can start building Chicago sports back up here as sports come back and everything like that. Hopefully he'll get his chance here in the next year.
Jim Boylan released a statement about how he's like, oh, he's so happy that Artie's here, and it's a great pick, great for Chicago. He's very gone. I saw some analysts that it'd be stupid if they fire Boylan. I understand causing discussion, but I don't understand. I have no way of understanding any point of view that says keep Jim Boylan. I really don't.
Honestly, it's just
he is hated. Like, he is at the point now where Chicagoans in his own building, at the United Center. Hate him.
Yeah, he's a guy that
yelled at.
Never seen a hate coach that's as hated as
I know. I have never seen it.
Like, I feel like people kind of hate him, but it was all such a flash in the pan here. Like, this Jim Boylan stuff is just like, it's like, imagine if Mark Trestman during that 2014 season then got a 2-year extension. That's what happened to Jim Boylan here. And like you said, he's getting booed in his own building. I almost feel bad for the guy now, because I've seen clips, like, anytime anybody has seen this guy in public around the Chicagoland area, it's like telling him he sucks and everything like that. So it's like,
I know it's embarrassing. And it's like, I mean, it's just, I've never seen a coach this bad be kept for this long. It makes no sense for me. It makes no sense to me. I feel bad because I feel like he's a really nice guy, but I just don't think a head coach is in his calling. I don't think it's in his cards, and I think it's time to go. And you get rid of Jim Boylan, you hire a good GM, you bring in a good coach, and Anthony Davis is following, baby. I'm telling you.
Anthony Davis and then Giannis to the Bulls.
You do, chill. That'd be insane. Can you imagine that? Kobe, that would be Kobe White. You'd have Anthony Davis, Giannis, and then you'd have who am I missing?
Probably have to get rid of Lowry.
Oh yeah, you'd have to get Carter.
Hey, there'll be some good role players that'll want to come and play with the Bulls if you're telling them you got Giannis and Anthony Davis, bro. I mean, that's what the NBA is. It's all about the superstars. And if you could get if Anthony Davis came back to Chicago, that'd be an absolute win, because you're hopefully then getting a second superstar, and then who knows, man? Who knows? Just try and make it happen at that point.
Yep, and you got a rising superstar in Kobe White. I think that's coming into form and fruition. So we'll see how that pans out. But all in all, it's a solid team. Right now, it's a solid team. With the coach, you'd be anywhere from a decent coach. You'd be anywhere from the 6 to 8 seed, in my opinion. But we'll see what happens. Good times ahead for the Bulls. Hopefully, it feels like we're kind of released from like purgatory. So it's good that we're out of there. Okay, in terms of the NFL, the coaches and GMs are going to be partaking. I think this is just funny. Partaking in a mock draft this week in order to make sure that it goes smoothly next week. I can just see a bunch of old men getting on Zoom and just going, "How does this work? Is my camera on? Can you see me?
Can you imagine like
Sean
Bill
Payton,
Belichick
can you see me?
Sit in front of the computer, like trying to be on a Zoom meeting with all these guys, trying to figure it out. They all got each other on mute. They don't realize it. They're all talking and just think they can't hear each other. Like, it's finally the NFL coaches are moving to the 21st century for the first time in forever.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting how they have it planned out too. It'll be a 3-day virtual fundraiser, which the NFL Draft is doing, benefiting 6 charities. It's highlighted on the Brawl Network article. Someone, I think it was Aaron Bell, one of our writers recently did a great job on it. Make sure to check that out. It might have been, I think it was Nate Sanchez. I don't want to get put out the wrong name, because whoever did a great job. But it's up on the Brawl Network site detailing the what's going to go on the charities and everything like that. But it's basically a draft-a-thon benefiting 6 charities that are helping with COVID. Let's see, ESPN and NFL. I'm reading a story from NFL.com. ESPN and NFL Network will combine to offer a singular presentation across both networks, while ABC will present its own distinctive primetime telecast for rounds 1 to 3, in addition to simulcasting. I've never seen this word before. Simulcasting. The ESPN and NFL Network telecast of rounds 4 to 7. So watch it on ABC or ESPN. That's basically what you're going to do next week. And then they're doing a draft-a-thon, and it's going to be interesting to see, because supposedly there's all the prospects that are partaking, you get drafted, and then I would assume there's a camera or something in your house. I don't know what they're going to do, but you see the reactions, and you see like a virtual walk up to Roger Goodell or something like that. Right, so it'll be interesting.
Well, we found out that Roger Goodell will be broadcasting the picks from his bunker. So it's official. We kind of joked around about that the last couple of days, but he is going to be announcing all the picks from his basement. So we are going to get an inside look at where the evil that is Roger Goodell lurks.
Please give me just constant 32 shots of Roger Goodell just walking out into screen from his basement onto a podium, and just sitting in it's a normal basement, and his NFL podium is just right there, and he just walks in and out. Or there's just fake curtains in the back. His wife set up fake curtains in the back. He just comes out from the curtains. Like, Roger, what's back there?
He's got to be wearing like pajama pants too. Like, if he's wearing a suit, I'm pissed. Like, he's got to show that he's a regular guy like the rest of us. Yeah, exactly.
An ESPN commercial.
Oh, with he's got like the mullet.
Mom, I'm done.
Yeah. Mom, I finished my segment.
Yeah.
Like that. But
ponytail out.
Right. Well, it's like Roger Goodell. Like I want to see something. I want to see some character out of him. I don't need the suit Roger Goodell. Let's show the people who you really are here. But also, how the fuck are we supposed to boo this man now? Do we have to like collectively get Twitter to all send out a boo tweet as he's like going to the podium? Do we need to like, video this? Like, because we can't have an NFL draft with Roger Goodell not getting booed. I refuse.
We have to. Okay, we'll schedule. We'll plan this. I think we should plan this with all of the brawl too. Just send out a tweet, boo at Roger Goodell.
As soon as he walks. Right. He's nowhere he is safe, not even in his own basement. We have to let the people know, let the NFL fans know that this is still our league. And we cannot let Roger Goodell escape us.
Yep. Not letting anything escape. All right. That sounded weird, but you get the point. We're going to boo him on draft night. Participate in that.
Just starting now.
All right. So now with all that talk, no recent Bears news as of late. Obviously, teams are gearing up for the NFL draft. The Bears have been looking at defensive tackles as of late. I've seen a couple offensive linemen in there. Our good friend Justin Mello over at the Titans Brawl at Justin M NFL over on the Titans Brawl. He's been breaking news on who's meeting who. If you don't follow him, follow him. He's again it's at Titans Brawl on Twitter. It's his podcast along with at Titans Film Room. It's Justin G and Justin M. It's a great show. Follow both of them. Justin M has been releasing breaking news on who's been FaceTiming who's met with who. So Bears have been meeting with lots of defensive tackles, offensive linemen. I've seen some wide receivers in their cornerbacks. So we'll see. Van Jefferson, my draft crush, is one of those guys, wide receiver from Florida that the Bears met with. So we're going to be having some fun here. We are going to be, with the little kind of drop in news here, we're going to be getting into a full top 50 mock draft. We're doing it on the Draft Network's mock draft machine. Obviously, everybody knows about it. It's a great machine. We're going to do it here. Wow, I sound like Donald Trump. Everybody knows about it. But we're gonna use this. We're gonna have some fun. And let's take it away with number one pick with the Bengals. Are we doing trades, Blake?
Doing trades right now seems like that's a lot of work.
All right, no trades here. But our Bears mock drafts next week, I'll tell you right now, guarantee will have trades.
Yeah, we will dive in. We'll do a full breakdown of that. Yeah. Yep. But all right, you want to kick it off? You want number one pick here?
We both can do it.
Okay.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Joe Exotic.
Joe Exotic. Hey.
Joe Burrow.
Joe Exotic.
Yeah. All right, Joe Burrow starting off number one. QB LSU had a sensational season. That's somewhat of a given. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is interesting. I don't think we're going to overthink this much, but you have Chase Young and then you have Jeffrey Okudah. In my opinion, those are the 2 that the Redskins are going to be looking at here. Blake, who do you like?
That Ron Rivera was interested in Tua Tagovailoa, but they just drafted Dwayne Haskins in the first round last year, so I don't see that. I see that as more of a ploy to maybe get a team to trade up a king's ransom to try and get that second quarterback. But if they're going to stay here at number 2, I think they got to take Chase Young, man. I mean, you talk about Chase Young, he's like a generational pass rushing talent, pretty much a go-to number 1 overall pick any other year, but unfortunately he's in the class with Joe Burrow, and with the quarterback need the Bengals have, he's just not going to be that guy. But I think Chase Young is the easy pick at number 2.
Absolutely. All right, number 3, the Lions. There have been talk that the Lions are interested in trading back. Given their number 3 overall pick, it'd probably be used for a quarterback if someone does move up. If not, and the Lions stay there, I think it's a kind of a no-brainer with Darius Slay moving on. They're going to go with Jeffrey Okudah from Ohio State, one of the best cornerbacks to come out of the draft in a long time. His tape is sensational.
Yeah, he's awesome.
No one throws at him. Mm-hmm. The dude's really, really good. So,
right.
Jeff, if you get drafted, I know you're listening. If you get drafted by Detroit, just get out of there as soon as you can.
True.
Right.
True.
Drafting Jeffrey Okudah. All right. Now it's gonna get interesting because the Giants are talking about trading back too. But if they were to stay at 4, who do you see them getting?
So here at number 4, I'm tempted to give them an offensive lineman just because they invested in Daniel Jones last year. So a left tackle to protect his blind side for years to come is an intriguing one. But I love Isaiah Simmons, man. They need an anchor for that defense. And I think that is the guy that you want to be the guy you build around. He's an awesome player, one of those hybrid type of linebackers that can play in pass coverage. He can get downhill, play in the run game. He's by far and away the best linebacker in this draft, and the Giants are going to end up building their defense around him for the foreseeable future. At least in this mock draft.
Yep, I agree. Isaiah Simmons, I like that. Number 5 is the Dolphins. So this is interesting for sure. I don't think the Dolphins pass up on Tua here. I think at number 5 they go Tua. I think he's going to be solid. I think Tua will be solid. I really do, especially in that offense. That's going to be a good team. AFC East is going to be pretty dirty next year.
Dolphins have a ton of picks here.
Not including the Patriots. So we're excited to see how this shows up. But yeah, let's go Tua.
All right. So I'm on the Chargers now. Chargers, they have Tyrod Taylor. He's their starting quarterback right now, and their head coach, Anthony Lynn, seems hell-bent on starting him this year. But I think if Justin Herbert is here, I can't see them passing on him. They need a franchise quarterback. Tyrod Taylor hasn't been the guy that you'd expect to be. I mean, he's had some solid runs. He, took the Bills to the playoffs, but you can't rely on him to be your guy for the foreseeable future. So you bring in Justin Herbert, maybe have him sit for a few games to start the season, and then maybe make some starts down the road here, but they got to grab a guy for the future.
That's interesting. Okay, so that was at pick 6. I put a bet in. It's minus 240, but I took it because I am super confident in this. And the only way this changes is if some team moves up and I would get fucked. But it's Justin Herbert over under pick 5.5.
Ooh, that's a good over under for him. Because I mean, that's kind of his prime spot there. If the Dolphins stay at 5 and a team trades up and gets Tua, I mean, that I could see the Dolphins pouncing for sure.
Yeah, I could see Jordan Love, though. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. But
see where he lands here. But
I'll run through. I want to actually, at the end of this, if we have some time, I want to run through my picks with you and see what you think. And, if anybody else wants to take them, don't go with me, whatever. But all right, next one. So you said Justin Simmons or Justin
Herbert at 6. So number 7, the Panthers. Who you got?
And this one's a tough too because the Panthers have Teddy B, and obviously they could be interested in a quarterback. But here I think, and there's some guys. Pick 7. I think it's very difficult to not go with Tristan Wirfs. So Tristan Wirfs, OT out of Iowa. I think that's who the Panthers are going to go with. Just someone to add to that offensive line to help protect Teddy B. And they need help there anyways.
Yeah, they're kind of in a stage of total rebuild right now, trying to rebuild that roster to compete. And I think you can't really pass up any talent at that point. So I think that's a good pick. Number 8, the Cardinals. I would have liked to get a wide receiver here, but obviously they made that trade for DeAndre Hopkins. So I'm going to go with the offensive tackle from Louisville, Mekhi Becton. They get their tackle for Kyler Murray. Mekhi Becton, he's a great run blocker, absolute load, and he's an athletic guy. I mean, he ran he's like 340 and he ran, I think, like a 5.3 or something like that, around that range, which is incredible speed. Mekhi Becton there, can't beat it. Best tackle available.
Yeah, him and Wirfs are up there for best tackle in this draft. They're beasts. Number 9, I think this is kind of a bit of a no-brainer. The Jaguars sell out on defense this offseason. I think they're going to go Derek Brown, the interior defensive lineman from Auburn. I think that's kind of a no-brainer there. So Derek Brown at number 9 overall. Who you got at 10 with the Browns?
Number 10, I'm going to go Jedrick Wills from Alabama here. Another tackle, really good tackle class here, and the Browns need it. They started Greg Robinson last year, and he is obviously not going to be playing considering he got popped with over 100 grams of weed or some shit like that over the border. So he will not be returning, so you get his replacement there in Jedrick Wills.
Yeah.
The Jets.
The Jets at 11. This is tough. Robbie Anderson
here, no matter what.
Yeah, this is tough. They'd probably be looking at a wide receiver.
I think so.
But, the tackle's there too. I think Jerry Jeudy's the first wide receiver off the board in this draft. So I think Jerry Jeudy goes to the Jets. I think that's going to be pretty good for Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick there. I got an Alabama receiver going right after that to the Raiders. You know how the Raiders throughout history love their speed. Al Davis isn't there anymore, but you get a guy like Henry Ruggs. I mean, his profile just screams, I was going to say Oakland Raider, but now the Las Vegas Raiders. So the Raiders are going to go with Henry Ruggs there with their first round pick.
I have Ruggs over pick 13.5 for this draft, so we'll have to see how this plays out. All right, so you got Ruggs. San Francisco, I think they're going to go another wide receiver, and they need what do they need? Secondary help, I think, and they're going to. Oh no, they need offensive line help or secondary help. I think
they need a little bit of both. I would say
secondary help. CB, that's right. So CB and wide receiver at the top of their needs here. I am gonna go CeeDee Lamb. I think they go. I think Judy, Ruggs, and Lamb go 1, 2, 3, and it could go Judy, Lamb, Ruggs, but I think they go 1, 2, 3 depending on trades. So CeeDee Lamb at 13.
All right, now we get to the Bucks, the Tom Brady Bucks, the Tampa Bay. I saw you see you trademarked that. Very good one. Good one, Tom Brady. But there's talk of them wanting to trade up for a tackle even potentially in this draft. But in this version, in the Halas Hall Brawl mock, they're going to have Andrew Thomas fall into their laps, and they can't pass him up here at 14. You get one of the top 4, top 5 tackles in the draft, and you plug him in, and then your offense is pretty awesome there. You got a good tackle, just need a running back. You got Tom Brady, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. That's deadly right there. All right, 15.
For sure. 15, the Denver Broncos. Let's go. Andrew Thomas. I didn't make my selection. Okay, so here I think they're going to go. This one's tough because Javon Kinlaw and Kayvon Chasen. Kayvon, and then Javon Kinlaw, the big interior defensive lineman from South Carolina, are here. Man, this is tough. This is a tough one. I think they're going to go Javon Kinlaw. I think if he's there at 15, I don't think they pass him. I don't think you can pass him up at 15.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's
go Kinlaw at 15.
I like that. That defensive line would be filthy with
I almost
Von
went
Miller, Bradley Chubb.
I almost went C.J. Henderson, but
yeah. Well, C.J. Henderson's going to go right here to the Falcons. C.J. Henderson is pretty much not a close second, but he's right there as the second cornerback in the draft, and it's one of the Falcons' biggest needs here. So you get one of the top corners in the draft at 17. But either way, they're going defense here. Even if C.J. Henderson's off the board, that's what the Falcons are building. Their offense, they can put up points with Ryan Julio and Calvin Ridley, and here they go, trying to rebuild that defense and try to get back to the prominence that led them to a Super Bowl a few years ago.
Yep, and that's another first-round pick onto the Falcons, who have all first-rounders on the offense.
Yes, sir.
Okay, C.J. Henderson.
The Cowboys, America's team. America's team.
All right, I think this one's kind of a no-brainer. How did you say his name?
Kayvon Chasen.
Kayvon, man, it's just tongue twister. Kayvon Chasen from LSU. The Cowboys need some edge help, and I think they go Kayvon here. At pick number 17. 18, we have the Dolphins. Take it away.
Ooh, the Dolphins here. This is where it gets a little tricky here because we're starting to get into the later round talent here, all the big time talents off the board. But I'm going to go with an offensive tackle here. The Dolphins need to build it up. They spent a lot of money kind of revamping their defense. Offensive tackle Josh Jones here from Houston.
Wow.
Yeah, a little bit of a reach there, but he's got a decent profile. Teams seem to like him. Teams always take guys based on measurables here, and the Dolphins have the time to develop these guys, and I think they're going to like Josh Jones and take him here.
I like it. Okay, let's
Raiders again.
Raiders. Okay, well, there are options here for the Raiders. They need some they need defense. That's basically what I'm looking at here. I'm looking at I think this might actually happen in real life. I'm pretty confident in this. Jeff Gladney from TCU. Yep. If Okudah was, him and Henderson, I think are pretty close. If you're looking at talent-wise or based off the tape, obviously Okudah is far and above, but Gladney is the last. Well, and then you have Christian Fulton, but Gladney was talked about being one of those top cornerbacks in the draft, and I think the Raiders make that move here and go Gladney.
Yeah, I think that's a good pick there, too. They really need to build up that defense. They traded Garyon Conley last year, too, so it's definitely a spot they need to address. The Jaguars now. Jaguars, this is where it gets a little bit tough here because I'm not really sold on all these safeties being a top 20 pick here. And, you obviously have Xavier McKinney on the board, Jeremy Chin, but even, quarterback might be an E for them. And Jordan Love is still there. Do you think the Jaguars potentially take a chance on him? I'm not sure. But I think I have to go Xavier McKinney just because out of all the safeties, he's the best. They need to rebuild that defense, and that gives you a guy to play back there. Their secondary is greatly depleted after trading Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Bouye. So those are corners, but Xavier McKinney can be slotted in there next to Ronnie Harrison and play safety for him.
Interesting. All right, the Eagles are at pick 21.
21.
I think here they're going to go – I just think before the Vikings can pounce on it, I think they're going to go Justin Jefferson. They need wide receiver help and big time. And Justin Jefferson with Alshon Jeffrey sounds pretty dirty.
Yeah.
Unless they get rid of Jeffrey because Jeffrey's been annoying in the locker room, but we'll see. Jefferson's a great pick. Dude's going to be a monster.
Yeah,
so I'm going Jefferson at the Eagles.
Love that pick to the Eagles. Now the Vikings. Vikings, another team that need a wide receiver. They traded Stephon Diggs here, and I think the next best wide receiver is going to go, and that's Denzel Mims. I think he's a for sure first-round pick here, maybe at the very top of second round, but I don't think he falls any farther than that. The Vikings get their replacement for Stephon Diggs there. Okay. Patriots. Is this where Jordan Love goes?
Yeah, I don't think there's a doubt about this. I think Jordan Love goes here, and I think this is a great pick. I think Jordan Love can almost start immediately. I think given a little bit of time in under Bill Belichick's wing, I think he'll be ready to go, and I think he's going to be freaking good. I think he's going to be good. I'm excited to watch him. I'm excited to watch a new project with Bill Belichick. Yeah. That's what I'm excited for the most.
That's definitely the most intriguing part about that situation if Jordan Love goes there.
Yep.
All right. Saints going down to New Orleans. I think they're going to address the defensive side of the ball. I think they have enough talent. They signed Emmanuel Sanders. Their offense has got a lot of explosive firepower. And right here, I think this is where Patrick Queen goes. I think Patrick Queen has just a little bit of an edge on Kenneth Murray just because of upside. Kenneth Murray, a great leader, but the Saints are a team that just they're trying to build it. You know, they took Marcus Davenport a few years. He was considered kind of a project, a long-term development guy, and Patrick Queen can come here. He'll probably start right away, and he'll get time to develop. So I think that's a good pick for the Saints. The Vikings again. You get both Vikings.
Yeah. No. What? No. You got the Vikings. You got Denzel Mims.
Oh, I did. That's my bad. So you got the second. You got the second Vikings pick.
Yeah. Here. All right. I think here, obviously they let some people go on the defensive side of the football. I like them picking Christian Fulton, and that's the last cornerback picked in the first round here. So I like Christian Fulton, the last round one talent cornerback, and that's honestly those are two solid picks for the Vikings.
Yeah, for sure. Dolphins, here we go again. This is their third first round pick, I believe. Yeah. They had the first or the third. 5th, 18th, and 26th. Yep. All right. So we got them Josh Jones as a tackle. They got Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback. Let's get him a running back now. Let's get him DeAndre Swift.
I was thinking the same thing, man. I love that.
They have Jordan Howard. They signed him, but obviously they're going to be looking for another guy that can potentially be their workhorse. And I think DeAndre Swift is considered pretty much universally the best running back in this class, and they land that guy. So on to Seattle.
Seahawks is interesting, man, because they have like, I want to go J.K. Dobbins here, but I think they'll be okay with Chris Carson and who they have there and Rashad Penny.
They're tough to predict.
Yeah, they are. So for this one, I think I'm going to go. It depends. Again, it depends what they do with Jadeveon Clowney. This is a very tough one. I'm going to go Isaiah Wilson out of Georgia. I'm going to take Danny's pick SEC boys. Adding that line, Jermaine Affidi gone, so they're going to want to bring in a better tackle. And Isaiah Wilson, they're going to look for him to be that guy for him.
All right, so on to the Ravens here. I'm going to go Kenneth Murray here. So got a couple linebackers here in the last 5 picks. Kenneth Murray, he's been slotted them a lot. They invested a lot in developing that interior, the defensive line. They traded for Calais Campbell. They traded for somebody else, I believe, too. I can't remember off the top of my head. Obviously, we know their secondary is filthy, and their offense was one of the best in the league last year. So
traded for – oh, no, never mind.
Yeah, they got
Hayden Hurst, but they got rid of Hayden Hurst.
Yeah, they traded him to the Falcons, I believe. Yep. But Kenneth Murray. Kenneth Murray is going to be their guy in the middle to finally replace C.J. Mosley, and the Ravens are gearing up for another really good season.
Yeah, the Titans. This is going to be a good team, a strong team in 2020 to 2021. I think they're going to go an edge rusher from Penn State, Yeturgros Matos.
Ooh, okay.
How do you say that? Did I say it right?
You said it. You nailed it.
All right.
You got it.
Edge from Penn State. Let me see if I remember correctly. This is a big guy with speed off the edge. A big guy, 6'5", 264. Junior coming out of Penn State. I think he'll be good. So just real quick, he knows how to use he got long arms, knows how to use them. He's effective at winning with first contact. So project that I didn't know much about him, so I want to read a little bit more on him. Project that the Titans can work with here. So I'm going with him at pick 29.
All right. Well, the next pick just automatically gets forfeited because fuck the Packers. But I guess if I have to take somebody here for him, right? I'm going to take Brandon Ayuk, the wide receiver from Arizona State. Right. I really like him. He's got a little bit of – What's up?
You think Cole Kmet after Jimmy Graham was gone?
They could, but they do like Jay Sternberger a lot from what I've read. They think he could start for him. They drafted him in the 3rd round last year. Yeah. So if they're going to go a tight end, they might address it a little bit later. But here they get a wide receiver that can do a lot of different things for you in Brandon Ayuk. So they get their man across from Devontae Adams.
I like that. I like that pick. That's a dangerous pick.
I know. I never like making picks for him. Don't need that kind of negativity in my life.
Where I gotta find him. Where is he? What number was he?
Oh, there he was 59 on their big board. Yeah. Damn. I like Brandon Ayuk though. I wouldn't mind if the Bears pick him up here. Not in this mock though.
I love the Bears got him too. All right, 31. The Niners again. 2 picks. It's gonna make him a dangerous team. I think they're gonna go Cesar Ruiz, the interior offensive lineman from Michigan. Just kind of solidify that interior offensive line.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot for them. Cesar Ruiz is pretty much by far and away the best interior lineman in this draft. And they posted a stat. Somebody did. Forgive me, I don't know who, but they posted a stat that like 8 of 8 interior offensive linemen that have been drafted in the 1st round have been re-signed to their same team on a 2nd contract. So it's pretty much like one of those positions that if you're drafting a guy in the 1st round, they end up pretty good. Yeah, can't really go wrong there. But so now the Chiefs, the Super Bowl champions, and in this mock, I don't know if they will do this because I don't think Andy Reid necessarily values this position a ton, but the rich get richer here, and I'm going to take Jonathan Taylor from Wisconsin and put him in that too. Jonathan Taylor is a track star, can do it all from the running back position. He's explosive, 4.4 speed. Put him in that offense with Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Pat Mahomes, and Travis Kelce, and they could easily repeat as Super Bowl champions next year.
Yeah. All right. 33. Now we're in the 2nd round. We'll go a little bit faster here, but I'm going to go with the guy out of Iowa. Dude's a workhorse. AJ Epinesa from Iowa. I just edge. He's the best edge available. I think he's a great pick for the Bengals to kind of help solidify that team a little bit more from all these picks that they're going to get in this draft.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Colts. I got T. Higgins here from Clemson. I think they need another guy, a bigger guy that can go up and get it opposite of T.Y. Hilton, as their wide receiving core was pretty depleted last year. So they get their guy in T. Higgins.
Okay, the Lions at 35.
Lions.
I like Neville Gallimore out of Oklahoma, the interior defensive lineman. The Lions need some help in there. Obviously, they got rid of Snacks a couple years ago, right?
Yeah. No, he retired this year.
Oh, that's right. So, fill that role there. Interior defensive lineman from Oklahoma.
All right. So now on to the Giants. So they addressed the linebacker in the 1st round, and here they're going to get their tackle in Austin Jackson. Austin Jackson had a little bit of a down year, but he was still considered one of the best prospects. His down year, though, it's a crazy story, is I believe that he was helping donate bone marrow to his sister, who was very sick at the time. So he lost a little bit of weight, but he was still able to come back and play last year and solidify himself as a top 60 prospect, which is awesome. I think he's going to be a really good guy there for the Giants, and they get the guy who's going to protect Daniel Jones.
I'm just thinking about the Chargers pick because I really want to go I really want to see J.K. Dobbins with Austin Eckler, but I think they're going to go tackle, especially if they go QB in the 1st. I don't think they're going to go with a running back in the 2nd, so I'm going to say I'll say tackle here at number 37, Urza Cleveland out of Boise State.
Okay.
Strong tackle class, so they're going to take advantage of all those tackles that they can.
Yeah, for sure. And now we're on to the Panthers. And the Panthers, who did we have? Tristan Wirfs there?
Yep.
In the 1st round. Okay, I think they're going to go to the defensive side of the ball here, and I think you take Jalen Johnson from Utah. He's a pretty good player, probably should be in the 1st round. You lost James Bradbury, I believe, this past offseason, so you get a replacement in Jalen Johnson.
Like it. Okay, for me, you've got and if he's there at 39, the Dolphins going to be very happy. Grant Delpit out of LSU. He gets a potential 1st round talent, but I just don't think there's a big need at safety. I mean, we were going through all those teams. There's just not a huge need at safety. So if he's there at 39, the Dolphins are going to be picking Grant Delpit out of LSU.
All right. Now we get to Bill O'Brien. So we don't really know. He could end up trading this pick for some scrub, but in this specific mock, they are going to go after an interior lineman. J.J. Watt's getting up there in age. They lost Jadeveon Clowney. They need some sort of pass rush. They're going to go Marlon Davidson from Auburn.
I like that. Marlon's a big boy. All right, the Browns at 41. We're 9 picks away.
9 picks.
2 picks away from the Bears. Okay, so the Browns. The Browns. This is an interesting pick here. This is a very interesting pick, and I think this is going to upset a lot of Bears fans. But I think they're going to go Jalen Reagor at 41. Just the fast to, you got Odell to put Jalen Reagor in the slot, give Baker Mayfield some more weapons, and and they've got Austin Hooper in there too. That's a revamped offense if they're able to get Jalen Reagor in there at 41.
All right, Jalen Reagor. I like that pick for the Browns.
Wide receiver out of TCU, by the way. Very fast.
All right, corner is a position here that the Jaguars need. They also need quarterback, wide receiver. I think they're going to go wide out here just because this is such a rich class of wide receivers. Laviska Shenault, I think this is where he goes. You got another guy similar to DJ Chark, can go out and get it. He's got wheels. He can do a lot of different things. Needs get a little bit better at his route running, but there he's going to go to Jacksonville, and he's going to have a decent core to be around. Hopefully Gardner Minshew takes the next step for them, and then they could have a nice little offense cooking. But here we are.
Wait, you went with, who'd you go with here?
Laviska Shenault.
Just finding him. All right, from Colorado. Okay, here we are. The Bears. I have the Bears. Here we go. For the pick number 43, if he is here, this is going to be a great pick. Instant starter, Antoine Winfield Jr. out of Minnesota. He's going to play that strong safety spot right next to Eddie Jackson, and that's going to be a deadly and very young duo that could be wreaking havoc for many years to come. I'm going Antoine Winfield from Minnesota to the Bears.
I like that pick a lot. If Antoine Winfield's there for the Bears, I feel like that's got to be something that they pull the trigger on for sure.
Good thing. We can talk about this real quick. Good thing for Bears fans. We went through all this. We still have guys like Jeremy Chin is still there. KJ Hamler is still there. So there's going to be options here at pick number 43 if they don't trade it away.
For sure. All right. So now we're on to the Colts at 44. They're going to address the defensive side of the ball. They're going to boost that interior. They're going to get Ross Blacklock from TCU. He had a little bit of an injury bug, but if he bounces back to his fullest potential, it's going to be a really good pick and potentially a steal because he is a first-round talent there. And Chris Ballard loves to take a chance, and he's going to get that guy there.
All right, 45, the Bucs. Bruce Arians would be licking his lips if this happened. J.K. Dobbins out of Ohio State, I think they don't even hesitate. They bring him in right next to Tom Brady. He's another guy who could start instantly in the NFL. Speed, talent, he's got everything that you need in a running back, and he should be able to do some damage in Bruce Arians' offense.
Yeah, I like that pick a lot. That offense is going to be looking deadly once
no matter what they do, yeah.
And this next one, we got the Broncos at 46. It pains me because I would love to see the Bears get him at 50, but I'm going to go KJ Hamler here. They need another small, kind of shifty guy to wide receiver. They got Cortland Sutton, who's a little bit bigger, Deshaun Hamilton, who's pretty tall as well. So they're going to get KJ Hamler here.
Add more weapons to Drew Lock's
yes, sir.
Arsenal. All right, the Falcons at number 47. I've got him going Zach Bond out of Wisconsin. Dude's an animal. 8 out Big Ten teams last year.
8 out Big Ten teams.
Oh.
Pause. You're good.
I'm messing with big pause. 8 up Big Ten teams. 8 up.
Love to see
it. So Zach Bond at 37. Jesus.
You're good.
That was a bad one.
All right, so Zach Bond goes there. Jets. The Jets are on the clock. They went a wide receiver in the first round. You gave him Jerry Jeudy, I believe. Is that correct?
Yep.
It's a good pick, and they're going to stay on the offensive side of the ball. They invested a lot in the interior of their offensive line, but here they're going to go a tackle, and they are going to – might be a little bit of a reach here, but Lucas Niang from TCU, he's the best tackle available on this board, and the Jets still just trying to do everything they can to make Sam Darnold's life easier.
All right, at 49, we've got the Steelers. This is a very, very interesting pick here. I honestly have no idea what they're going to do because who's available doesn't help them very much. But I'm going to go Justin. I've seen this guy's a monster, but I can't announce his name ever. I've seen him on Twitter many times. Matabuke. Out of Texas A&M, another big guy, can do damage and has a very high ceiling. So I see the Steelers making a pick with him at number 49.
All right, so now the last pick of our mock draft here, and Man, I don't think he will be here for the Bears at 50. And this is a total luxury pick if so, but Terrell Lewis, the edge from Alabama, he's a guy that I believe has had the injury bug as well. So he's fallen a little bit, but if he doesn't have those concerns, I think a lot of teams see him as a potential first round guy. And, the Bears signed Robert Quinn. They have Khalil Mack. They lost Leonard Floyd, but they get another one here in Terrell Lewis. Now you got 3 guys that you can rush on any down from that outside linebacker position. I think that would be an absolute luxury steal if they can get him.
That would be insane. That would be insane.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's our mock draft.
That's our mock draft, top 50. I think it went pretty well. I think we did pretty well.
Bears end up with a nice little haul.
Yeah, I think teams would be happy with the picks that we gave them. And next week we'll be doing the same thing, except we'll be doing our Chicago Bears mock draft.
All Bears.
People involved. We'll be having some fun with it, so we'll see what we can do. In the meantime, we're going to move on from our mock draft. Hope you guys enjoyed it. First time doing that. We did not do it last year, so first time doing that. And we're going to move into our big board. And this week's big board is given to you by Blake. Blake, what's our big board?
So we got a big board of the best Bears draft picks from 2001 to 2019. I had to cut off 2000. I just got to preface it just because Brian Urlacher is the clear-cut number 1 there. So we're starting from 2001 and we're going to 2019. So anybody drafted by the Bears is in play here. So you want to kick us off, Austin? Who's your number 4?
Kick us off. Number 4 out of the University of Abilene Christian, 5th rounder, 2009, Johnny Knox. If Johnny didn't hurt his back, I think he would have been pretty productive in a Bears uniform. He already was serving as that wide receiver 1-2 during his time. Just sucks his career was cut short, and obviously the image of the back is in a lot of Bears memories, so very difficult way to go. But, I got to go Johnny Knox, number 4.
All right, that's a good pick. Number 4 for me, I am going with Kyle Long. And the reason I'm going with Kyle Long is because I remember not being too happy when Phil Emery made that his choice, I think with the 20th pick overall. I was like, wow. I mean, that seemed like kind of a reach. It seemed like they kind of had some other needs at that time. But Kyle Long went on to be one of the best Bears fans of the 2010, or best Bears players of the 2010s. Played with them for a majority of the decade, was productive, made it to Pro Bowls, and he ended up just becoming a face for the Bears when they were struggling. So I'll go Kyle Long there with my number 4 on my Bears draft big board.
Interesting. Okay. For me, out of Tulane, one of the best running backs in the history of Chicago, it's Matt Forte, 2008, second round. Kind of a no-brainer here. Matt Forte was a monster for many years in a Bears uniform. He did us well until he went to New York to play for the Jets. But yeah, Matt Forte, I mean, people growing up watching the Bears, myself included, that 2000 to 2010 period was kind of that growing up period where I have most of my Bears memories, and Matt Forte has a lot to do with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Matt Forte, awesome Bear, one of the best running backs during his time in the league. My number 3, I'm going to go with a current Bear. I'm going to go Kyle Fuller. He was a first-round pick in 2014, 14th overall. He kind of had some bumps in the road throughout his career. He got off to a really good start with that 2014 team. I think, remember, they started 2-1, and Fuller had like 3 picks to start it. After that, we weren't really sure what's going to happen. He didn't get his 5th-year option. He missed almost his entire first season with the Ryan Pace, John Fox regime, I believe. And there was talks that he might not even be back, but he ended up coming back, puts together an all-pro season in 2018, and he's been with the team for quite some time now, one of the longer tenured Bears. So I got Kyle Fuller at number 3.
That's a good one. Okay, my number 2 out of Miami during their power decade of dominance. Greg Olsen from 2007, even though he went on to Carolina for many years. Greg was one of the, obviously on a team, Mike Ditka, Bronco Nagurski. Then you got Greg Olsen, who is, I'd say a top 5 tight end in Bears history, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he did so much. Obviously, big part of the team going to the NFC Championship in 2011. But
fortunately, Mike Martz doesn't like tight ends.
Yeah, and he's gone. So
yeah,
bye-bye.
Thank God.
Sorry.
All right, so moving on to number 2 here. I'm going with another current Bear. He was a steal in the 4th round. Eddie Jackson. He won 112th overall in 2017. And I mean, what can you say about it? When you get an All-Pro in the 4th round, that has to be one of your best draft picks of whatever odd years you're talking about. He fell in the draft because he had a broken leg, I believe, at Alabama, and for some reason, a broken leg, the people didn't think it would heal right, and what became a draft slide for him became the Bears' reward, and now he's obviously paid off because he got paid as the highest safety in the league when he signed his contract. So Eddie Jackson at number 2 for me.
It's a good one, and Eddie's going to be very good here for a long time.
Sir.
All right, number 1.
Number 1.
Can't be a Halas Hall Brawl podcast without
the drum roll.
Our man, and probably our favorite interview ever, Devin Hester, 2006 out of Miami. So back-to-back Miami guys. I think it just speaks for himself. Future Hall of Famer, best return man of all time. That's the best from 2001.
Yeah. I mean, you would, if you told me that they would spend a 2nd round pick on a kick returner, it sounds like something I would be pissed off at. But then when you preface it with they draft the best kick returner, best return man of all time in the 2nd round, then it's a steal because Devin Hester was an absolute game changer.
Yep. All right, what's number 1?
A number 1 Bears draft choice of all time. Going with a fan favorite here, Charles Tillman. Charles Tillman was drafted in the 2nd round, 36th overall from Louisiana Lafayette. And, I mean, he went on to play with the Bears for 10-plus years. I mean, absolutely changed the game. Peanut punch. I don't know when Charles Tillman will be a Hall of Famer, but he absolutely deserves to be. And I think that's just one of those guys that all Bears fans would love. It's a guy that's hard not to love if you're a football fan. So I got Charles Tillman as my easy number 1 there. So there we go.
Solid list there. That's a pretty solid list. Tillman and Hester take number 1s for us. If Danny, who do you think Danny would take?
I couldn't tell you. Maybe some SEC guys. Who are some Bears SEC guys? Eddie Jackson.
Eddie Jackson, yep.
Roquan's one that deserves to be on the honorable mention for sure.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
A little too early to decide on that, but that's an honorable mention. So a lot of good guys, though. It's a lot of people to choose from between 18 years of draft classes, and we could even do one on the Bears' worst picks because there is a lot of bad ones out there. Talking Gabe Karimi, Shea McClellan. I mean, the list goes on, man. I'm looking through these drafts preparing for this, and I mean, we could do a whole nother big board with just the worst of worst.
Yeah, 100%. But there's a lot of bad ones out there.
Yeah, there we go. That's our big board for this week.
Yeah, big board. I wish we had more because I kind of want to keep going.
I know. The draft
picks.
And the honorable mentions should go on. Even a guy like Henry Melton, who was drafted in the 4th round, he ended up being a pretty good player for the Bears. Like, he was a guy that got injured and his career kind of took a tumble after that. But, anytime you get a really good contributor, I think after round.
What about Patrick Manley?
Patrick Manley? He was drafted late.
Was he like a UDFA?
No, he was drafted, I believe, before that 2001 mark. Okay. He was with the Bears, I mean, longer than Urlacher, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Drafted in 1998.
Sheesh. My brother was born in 98. That's absurd. That's insane. All right. Oh, God. We're so old. All right. Well, I mean, solid list of a big board. If we're going to tweet this stuff out. Actually, I kind of want to look at who won last week. But we're going to start. Yeah, we should start. Next week, we're going to start letting you guys know who wins each week. But I know it's close between Danny and I. And Danny doesn't even watch cartoons. It's not fair.
I know, right?
So we'll tweet this out. You guys vote who has the best list, and then you guys can vote on our topics for next week. Stay tuned on the Halas Hall Brawl page. We'll get you guys involved for our mock draft. We are excited. It's draft season. We're
next week.
Under 2 weeks. We're under 2 weeks away. It's insane. It's close. Been waiting a long time, especially now for that. So get hype. Let's hopefully the Bears do well here, and we'll catch you guys next week. Go Bears, bear down, and we'll see you next time. Bears. All you cool Bears and Cubs. Bear down.